Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, Nonstop Talking with your girl here, Vivian Liu. Yesterday I posted my most surprising books of 2020. Tomorrow I will be doing my worst. So today I am doing my most disappointing. I tried my best to narrow it down to just 10 titles to talk about today. This year I felt like it's been a really lukewarm year for reading. I rated a lot of things 3 out of 5. I just felt meh about a lot of books, especially ones that like I was highly anticipating. So I felt like there were quite a few books that disappointed me. Anyways, let's get started. This is gonna be in alphabetical order. So number 1 is Blood Promise by Rochelle Mead. This is the 4th book in the Vampire Academy series. So the story goes, I watched the movie and then I decided to pick up the book series. I got up to book 4 and I just didn't feel like continuing with it anymore. I would say like from the first book, I already felt like it wasn't really like holding my attention. Like I didn't feel truly hooked into the story. My main issues, there's like 2, I think. One of them being I found the main character annoying and I like didn't like being inside her head, and my other issue is that I didn't find the love interest like swoon worthy, so I wasn't supporting the romance. If you don't know, the first book in this series is called Vampire Academy. It's set in a school for vampires, like royal vampires, and then their bodyguards who are half vampire and half human. It's about Lissa, who is the royal vampire, and then her bodyguard Rose, and in the beginning they're like on the run from the school. Number 2 is Buffy the Vampire Slayer Volume 2, Once Bitten, written by Jordi Belair and illustrated by David Lopez. I am a fan of the show, and that is why I picked up the first volume, and I was actually like pleasantly surprised by the first volume. I quite enjoyed it. I think it gave the story kind of a modern like adaptation, and then it stayed very true to the source material but also ventured off to do its own thing in a really good way. So I was looking forward to the second volume, and after I was done with the second volume I was really disappointed. First of all, they completely changed the art style, which I don't understand why, because the first one like looked really good, and like yeah, so they changed the art style. And then another issue was that the plot was so messy. There was loads of things just happening all at once, and none of it was being explained. Like it just was all over the place story-wise. So I was disappointed by the second volume, but hopefully the third volume will be better. And if you don't know, Buffy the Vampire Slayer is a popular TV show that ran from 1997 to 2003, and it follows a teenage vampire slayer named Buffy who protects her city from vampires and demons and that sort. It's a great show. If you haven't seen it, I would highly recommend that you binge watch it. Number 3 is Farewell to Manzanar by Jean Wakatsuki Houston and James D. Houston. This is the memoir written from someone who was a little girl, a Japanese American, during the time of the internment camps, and her family was living there, and now she's like an adult writing this story. Firstly, I do want to recognize the importance of this book, and I am so glad that the target audience is for younger readers and that they're able to pick this up and learn about American history. As for me, I felt like maybe because the target audience is younger, I don't think it had enough of an impact. I felt like the scenes that were of significance were kind of glossed over, and memories that I didn't think were really truly like important in this grand scheme of storytelling was given a lot of description. In addition, I was hoping for more reflections. I was hoping for it to be more emotional and more profound, but that didn't like happen for me. I totally think this is just me walking into this with too much expectations, and then my expectations weren't met, hence why I was disappointed. But I do think this is a great like book to pick up, not as an audiobook, but as like a physical book. I know I have friends who've read this and related to it and felt seen, but for me it just didn't really work. But like I said, I do want to recognize its importance. Number 2 is Gathering Blue, which is the second book in the Giver quartet, written by Lois Lowry. I loved The Giver. It was required reading for me back in middle school, and I just remember really loving the book when I read it. At that time, I didn't know it was a series, and when I found out later on, it was always an intention of mine to complete the series. And this year, I kind of did this thing where I decided to pick up old series that I never finished and tried to finish them. So I did pick up the second book, Gathering Blue, and now I'm like wondering if I even really loved The Giver in the first place, because the Gathering Blue was really boring to me. Like, I felt like not much happened and it was like really slow. So the story is about this girl. It's set in this dystopian world. She is a handicapped orphan, and because of that, in her society, she's kind of like left to potentially just die. However, she has like a special skill, and so she's kind of saved by the council, and the story kind of rolls from there. At this moment in time, I think maybe I will continue on with the series, but not like anytime soon. The first and second books don't really connect, so I don't know if you need to read this in order, but I do think in the end that it will all come together, so you should read it in order. But yeah, so we'll see. I will probably pick up the third book, but like I'm not like jumping to do it immediately. Number 5 is I Love You So Mochi by Sarah Kuhn. So with this, the title, adorbs, the cover, super cute. I was ready to be like wowed by this like YA contemporary romance, except that it didn't deliver. The story is about Kimi, who doesn't know what she wants to do in life, and she gets into an argument with her mom because of this, and she decides to go to Japan to meet her estranged maternal grandparents and to just find herself while she's there in a different country. The story is slow. The main character is slow. And because of that, the plot just drags. And the main conflict is that the main character doesn't know what she wants to do, but she's known what she's want to do this entire time. So there really is no like conflict. And yeah, like I said, it just drags, and I was really disappointed because I think it could have been the total package. Number 6 is My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell. I know a lot of people who love this, and I wished I did too. Frankly, like everyone else, the quote about it like being a love story really hit me hard, and I think there were just moments in this where it was just such an emotional roller coaster. It was well written at points, and it just came hitting hard in the feels. But I think the length really boggled the story down. I think it was a little bit too long, and I think if it like just shortened itself a bit, this definitely would have shown up in my favorites instead. Number 7 is Ruse, which is the second book in the Want duology by Cindy Pon. I really enjoyed the first book, Want. I felt like everyone was like sleeping on this gem. It's set in a dystopian Taiwan where people can no longer go out in public to breathe the air because it's so polluted and contaminated that you have to wear a suit. I think it has pretty solid commentary on like the haves and have-nots, and there's also this like pretty fun heist. And then the second book happens, and I just don't think it was a good wrap up. It wasn't as fun as the first, and that was just kind of a letdown. It did some things with the main relationship and with the main friendship group that I didn't like, and just sadly it wasn't able to continue what the first book did. Number 8 is The Dare, which is the 4th book in the Briar U series, written by L. Kennedy. L. Kennedy is an auto-buy author for me. I pre-ordered this bad boy, and I was so excited because I love the series. It's a spin-off series of Off Campus, and I would say like Off Campus is the better series in this. But yes, so let's talk about The Dare. The Dare is ice hockey and a romance novel between a college ice hockey player and a plus size sorority sister. Originally, I liked the cover. I thought it was really pretty and pink. And then I found out that our main heroine is this curvaceous, thick, young woman, and I thought the cover was a bit of a letdown after finding that out. And I don't like romance novels that uses miscommunication too much. I think one miscommunication leading to the couple breaking up one time I could potentially forgive, but this story does it twice, and I'm just like, no, come on. And the main girl in this, she is quite insecure and has low self-esteem regarding her body, and sometimes it's hard to read that. And I don't know, overall I was just like, I had such high expectations for this because of the fact that I love the author L. Kennedy so much, but this just did not work. Number 9 is Tough Guy, which is the 3rd book in the Game Changer series by Rachel Reed. I think the best book in this series is Heated Rivalry, which is the 2nd book. And none of the books in this series has been able to repeat that success, sadly. This series is a male-male ice hockey romance. This 3rd book is an age gap romance between like this older guy who is a goalie, and he's great, but the younger like counterpart, I don't really like him. I never really like, I don't dislike him, but I never got into his character, and I feel like I can't really support a character when I'm not like supporting the two of them. So that's one of the issues I had with it. But yeah, just overall, I think that the 2nd book in the series really outdid itself. And like I said, it just hasn't been able to like repeat that magic. Number 10 is #Rev, which is the 2nd book in the Gear Shark series, written by Cambria Herbert. First book, #Junkie, follows a race car driver, Drew, and his fraternity brother friend. And I just think like the 2nd book wasn't as fun as the first, and I don't feel any strong attachments to this couple. And after reading this, I was just kind of like, yeah, I wouldn't continue with the rest of the series, and that's why it's on this disappointing list. In hindsight, now that I've done my like most disappointing books and I will be doing my worst, I realized that I dropped a lot, or I started and dropped a lot of book series this year. I wonder why that is. But yeah, let me know in the comments below if you have read any of these books and what are your thoughts. Outro time. Like, comment, subscribe. See you in my next video whenever that is. Bye!